What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Raptors Report. It is time to talk about the Toronto Raptors because it looks like the Raptors may look to move RJ Barrett this offseason. So I'm going to be breaking all of that news down for you today. And there has been some rumors linking a young superstar player to the Toronto Raptors as well. I'm going to be breaking all of that news down for you in today's video. So if you are ready to watch, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, as you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel, and the shout out for today's video goes out to Todd Stevens. So, Todd, thank you so much for supporting this channel through your likes and comments. It is very much appreciated. And NBA Central was reporting RJ Barrett is a potential trade candidate this summer, according to Michael A. Scotto. Based on conversations before the trade deadline, Barrett could be used as a trade candidate, to monitor this summer. Barrett was discussing trade talks for Ingram with New Orleans, but the Pelicans prefer the expiring contracts of Bruce Brown and stretch 5 center Kelly Olynyk, who's owed $13.45 million, league sources tells Hoop Hype. And the article did go on to state with the Toronto Raptors envisioning a front court of Scotty Barnes and newly extended Brandon Ingram along with former lottery pick Grady Dick at shooting guard. Where does that leave current leading scorer RJ Barrett's future? Based on conversations before the deadline, Barrett could be a trade candidate to monitor this summer. Barrett was discussed in trade talks for Ingram with New Orleans, but the Pelicans prefer the expiring contracts of Bruce Brown and stretch 5 center Kelly Olynyk. As we said, he's making $13.45 million next season. With Trey Murphy III and Herb Jones already on the wings, the Pelicans didn't view Barrett as a suitable fit for their roster, as talks would have necessitated finding a third team, sources said. Now, some of you guys have to give me some props, because who was screaming that the Raptors would look to trade RJ Barrett for Brandon Ingram? It was me right here. And look, this isn't coming from a place of me disliking RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is probably one of my favorite players on the Raptors. Everything he embodies is kind of what the Raptors culture has been. He plays with so much heart, but why would the Raptors look to trade RJ Barrett, you may ask? And more importantly, why did the Pelicans refuse to take on RJ Barrett's contract? It's one of the reasons I have highlighted in my previous video. So when people talk about, a lot of people I see in the comments mentioning that, why are you so focused on salaries? Who cares? Let the front office do their job. You have become very negative in your last few videos. You have to understand the NBA always follows trends. You always have to look at the NBA every 3 to 5 years and understand why teams do what they do. And you saw a lot of teams. Masai Ujiri, I've always said this, the front office, with the things we're thinking of right now, they've thought of a year ago. There's a reason why they are professionals, and there's a reason why they're in the position they are. When you look at some of the teams, during the NBA trade deadline and the lack of moves they were able to make, thanks to them being in the first apron, thanks to them being in the second apron. You think Masai Ujiri saw this and said to himself, I'm going to acquire Brandon Ingram and keep RJ Barrett as well. This is why we're hearing trade rumors, guys. It's not because Masai Ujiri hates RJ Barrett. Look, you can argue that Pelicans didn't want him because of the fit, but I do want to mention this as well. When you take a look at the Pelicans salary cap situation, what was one of the reasons they did not want RJ Barrett and preferred Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk? They had expiring contracts. Bruce Brown, $23 million is expiring this season. Kelly Olynyk, $13.45 next season. And you can even make the argument, what's the big deal? I mean, RJ Barrett is making less money than Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk combined. But that is exactly the reason that I have been screaming about why I think the Raptors will trade RJ Barrett, which is for one simple reason only. It's not that RJ is making a lot of money now. It's what is his new contract going to look like? And again, that is in 2 seasons, when players will be making $35-40 million, and the Raptors do not want to do that, guys. They simply do not. And they were obviously trying to flip RJ Barrett in this specific trade scenario. And again, you got to give me some props. I don't just pull stuff out of my butt and say it for the sake of it. I'm not in my feelings when I talk about certain players being traded. You have to understand logic and the way the NBA is traded. Money is super tight with the new CBA rules, and there's a reason why the Raptors tried to trade RJ Barrett. Now, a lot of people will argue, why not Emmanuel quickly? I will say this time and time again, they need his shooting. And most importantly, like the article stated, where's Grady Dick going to go? But even most importantly, the Raptors need defense. They need a 3-and-D. Even though we have Brandon Ingram likely playing the 3 position, you need someone that's 6'6", 6'7", that can play defense. Ochai Agbaji is great, but we need a better defense at that position. The small forward shooting guard position, we need someone better. As good as Grady Dick is, he's got his limitations on the defensive side as well. So again, Why are the Raptors looking to trade RJ Barrett? For one simple reason only. It's money. They do not want to pay him on a new contract. And that was the reason that the Pelicans did not even want to take him. I actually thought the Pelicans would like RJ Barrett, considering they do want to try and keep Zion happy. But of course, that wasn't the case. So again, a lot of people will argue, why not Emmanuel Quickly? For a simple reason, guys. They need Emmanuel Quickly's 3-point shooting. And when Emmanuel is healthy, you saw what he's capable of doing. They need 3-point shooting to surround someone with Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes. So, and they need, most importantly, defense as well, which unfortunately makes RJ Barrett the odd man out. So again, when I say things, I don't just say things because I hate RJ Barrett. I don't just say things out of nowhere. I say it because you have to understand logic, but you also have to understand the way the NBA has been trending as well. So I mean, it's crazy to think that Pelicans turned down RJ Barrett and would rather have Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk. One simple reason only. They do not want to go into luxury tax. A lot of teams have seen first apron, second apron teams, and they've seen what it looks like for trade deadlines. They're not even able to add more players to their roster, which again, it just makes it so much more difficult. Not to mention you can't aggregate players, which means you can't do a 2-for-1 deal once you're in the second apron. So the Raptors, again, they're going to be trying to move off of RJ Barrett, and do not be surprised if and when it happens this offseason. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do it again during this offseason. And I've always said in my personal group chats here, ideally, if you can flip RJ Barrett for a more athletic center, then you can possibly look to trade Jakob Poeltl and try to get some sort of defensive help at the shooting guard, at the small forward position, and then kind of maneuver your roster like that as well. So again, we'll see what happens in terms of RJ Barrett being moved. Am I surprised by this? Absolutely not, because I was one of the few people that was saying RJ Barrett is definitely going to go in that deal for Brandon Ingram, and I'm really surprised that Pelicans didn't take it, but that just gives you a perspective on how much money means moving forward in the NBA, guys. Yeah, sure, you could argue they have Trey Murphy and they have Herb Jones as well, but those weren't simply the reasons alone. It was money as well. So I mean, Kelly Olynyk, Bruce Brown, RJ Barrett. No one's going to argue RJ Barrett is the better player, but money comes into play when we talk about how to construct a roster moving forward. So again, I'm very, very curious to hear what you guys think about this, because a lot of people were against trading RJ Barrett and would rather trade Emmanuel Quickly. And I understand that sentiment. RJ Barrett has definitely had the better season than Emmanuel Quickly, but you have to understand where I was coming from when I spoke about this months ago leading up to the NBA trade deadline. But we also got some other interesting news, because LaMelo Ball could be traded this offseason. And what are one of the teams that is listed on the list? It's the Toronto Raptors. So NBA Central reported the Rockets, Magic, Warriors are among the favorites to land LaMelo Ball if he's not with the Hornets next season. As you see there, so Toronto Raptors are one of the four teams. One of the four teams expected to land LaMelo Ball. Now, if I'm the Toronto Raptors and I'm calling the Charlotte Hornets, obviously RJ Barrett could be in that deal. Emmanuel Quickly could be in that deal. And I mean, just considering, the way they have constructed the roster, I think it would make more sense for Emmanuel Quickly, the Hornets, who want Emmanuel Quickly rather than RJ Barrett, just considering they have Brandon Miller there. They have Trajan Salon there as well. So Emmanuel Quickly, they need 3-point shooting. That would definitely help. But if I'm the Toronto Raptors, I'm not saying no to one single player. One single player for LaMelo Ball. This guy's averaging 26 points while giving you 8, 9, 10 assists every single night. He's a very talented scorer. And if I'm the Toronto Raptors, I'm doing everything in my power to try and acquire him. Guys, the Raptors, whether we want it, whether we don't, regardless of how we may feel about the Brandon Ingram trade, the Raptors are going to make one more move for that superstar player. And why not do it for LaMelo Ball? Look, there's certainly concerns about his injuries, and there's absolutely no denying that he's injury prone. But I've always said the Raptors, it almost seems funny because someone mentioned this in my last video, but it almost seems like the Raptors are always linked to a lot of injured star players or all-star players, right? So for good reason, they have a great medical staff. They can load manage, but I would not say no to LaMelo Ball. I know there's concerns. He's super young and he's already so injury prone, you could argue. But when you get a chance to trade for a guy who's going to give you 25, 26, 27, 28 a night, and again, that's a superstar player. And not only that, he's giving you assists as well. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out, and do not be surprised that the Raptors give up a ton of picks just to acquire LaMelo Ball as well. So I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about all of this. But again, guys, when I make things up, I don't just make things up because I'm trying to get views. I'm not doing it for views. I'm not doing it because I hate certain players. I try to apply logic as much as possible when I do some of these videos, and particularly me just being on Twitter, I've seen some of the trends with NBA teams. You're seeing how constricted teams are with the movement of players when you go into the luxury tax. And the Toronto Raptors have about $10 million before they hit the luxury tax. And guess what? The top 10 pick they're going to get is probably going to get $6, $7, $8 million. So you got about $2, $3 million to spend to make up the rest of the 2, 3 roster spots. And again, keep in mind, we do have a Portland second round pick as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how the Raptors kind of manage the money as well, what kind of moves we could expect the Raptors to make. But I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I do have a trivia question for you today. And the trivia question for today is, which year was LaMelo Ball drafted? Was it A, 2020? Was it B, 2022? Was it C, 2019? Or was it D, 2021? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.